Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Deborah McPherson, President of the Nurses Union. We want to thank you for coming here this morning because we wanted to share with the public our concern about cuts to public health nursing programs that will impact every community across British Columbia. The most serious cutback we think is going to be happening is the valuable program of home visits by public health nurses to mothers who've just come back home after delivering their babies in hospital. What's leading our concern is that the provincial government is launching a new program that targets new moms who are considered to be at risk. This program, called the Nurse Family Partnership, involves intensive regular home visits to low-income moms who have never given birth before and under the age of 25. So in order to be involved in this program, you have to meet all three of those criteria. And that's a very small group of women who deliver babies. It's a good program, but the government expects health authorities to find $23 million that it will cost to operate from its existing budget. Already those health authorities were asked to reduce their public health budget by 10% in this fiscal year. So there's no new money and no new nurses, despite the fanfare from the ministry. That puts at risk all other public health programs that will be run by nurses who aren't chosen to be a part of the new program. The first service to be cut would be visits by public health nurses to all women who've just given birth. Managers may claim nurses can identify others who may be at risk with a telephone call, but the essence of public health is meeting people in the community face to face. And that's the only way to make a full and accurate assessment of the status of these new moms and their babes.
Home visits have been the cornerstone of the public health service. We have long gone out, visited families within their own home where they're able to reduce or let down their sort of guard and tell us truly what life is like living with a new baby in their home environment.
Sometimes just the reassurance from the public health nurse that you're doing the right thing. This is what it's meant to be like. This is what it's meant to feel like. It is the most reassuring and comforting thing. I would be so ashamed of the government if they took this away from other mothers.
Assistance with feeding the baby in the early days is essential for the success of breastfeeding. And the majority of women in BC really intend to breastfeed. And breastfeeding failure is a huge cost to the family and to the system. It causes millions in additional illness for the children and the mothers. And it costs the family up to $5,000 a year.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm a 36-year-old first-time mom. My pregnancy was great. My delivery was quick, painful, but quick, and it was good. But when I got home, it was the breastfeeding that was the major challenge for me. Eric was feeding every 2 to 3 hours. He was spitting up every time he fed. He was fussing and crying when I fed him. And in the evening, I realized he had only wet his diaper once, so I was quite concerned, nervous, a bit overwhelmed, hoping I was doing everything right, was worried he was being dehydrated, not sure. Anyways, I was very thankful that the next day the nurse came and she assured me that he wasn't jaundiced and he wasn't dehydrated.
You know, as soon as a nurse goes out to a home, she's doing an assessment from the minute she walks to the front door, and she's observing the family within their home unit and determining what the best practice is and what referrals that they need to be made within their community. And often the concern is that services may be available in our larger urban centers, but there may not be those same services in our small rural sites across BC. So the public health nurse is often the only person that family has the opportunity to connect with, to provide them the support as they go through their challenges on each and every day.
With Henry, my second, we had problems breastfeeding, and I am fortunate enough to live in an area where I could have had resources available, but they were booked weeks in advance, weeks away, so I wouldn't have been able to continue breastfeeding had it not been for my public health nurse.
I'm really here today to speak on behalf of so many people I know who were in the same situation that we were and found the public health nurse to be extremely valuable. I don't fall into the category of low risk or young mom, yet we really needed the service. When Ryder was born, everything was fine. We were in the hospital. When we were discharged, day 2, he had a 7% drop in weight. We were all told this was totally normal. Breastfeeding was going well. When we got home, which was day 3, we had a call from our public health nurse who happened to have time that day to come over. When she came over to weigh him, he had already dropped down to 12%. It scares me to think what could have happened to him, and we got more help breastfeeding, and we were able to get his weight up. And as a new parent, that's really all you can ask for. I know so many other moms who have gone through the same thing that we've gone through, and the public nurses are absolutely amazing, and it would be so sad if this service that is offered right now is no longer going to be available.
We have a lot at risk here. We have the health of mums and their babes across the province at risk. We have our public health care system and its universal access principles at risk here as the government further cuts back services to the majority of people and targets only a few. What if you're not high risk, low income, and under 25? What if you don't meet all those criteria, and yet you have a baby that has problems or you need help as a new mom? So today we're starting a campaign. We're launching it through social media channels, and it's an online letter to the Premier and Health Minister demanding that they restore home visits by public health nurses to all new moms who've just given birth in hospital. Because really, at the end of the day, our nurses matter, and the service that they deliver to these moms and their babies matters most of all. What we have been told is that they're going to take 53 of our public health nurses and 10 people to manage them. That's a 1-to-5 ratio, I think, actually, who will be operating this program as a pilot project across the province. Those nurses are not being backfilled as no new money is being added to the system. What they've been nurses in the community have been told is that now they will be making contact by phone. And that the work that the public health nurses do besides the visits, the 53 that are going to be running the project, will now be redistributed to the other nurses. Our concern is their workload is already so high that we're going to lose programs.
With less nurses in the system, providing those opportunities, those are concerns that, again, it's an erosion of public health care services across the board. So while we target one very small group, which we do believe deserves service, we don't want to take away service to the rest of the population. This should be a universal health care service.
I think taking a program which was piloted in 3 centers in the U.S., where, as you know, they really don't have universal health care, and they put the program in place, and of course they got positive results. When you give something to people who have nothing, it can't help but improve. And we expect that this small group of people will also benefit from the program. But what about all the other people who aren't first-time moms, who aren't under 25, and who aren't low income or high risk as defined by the program? This is a program that they bought. It's copywritten. They bought it from a physician for tens of thousands of dollars. It can't be modified. It can't be shared. It has to be confidential. And it's being piloted here. And in order to do this, we're losing some aspect of the universality of the existing healthcare programs we already have, which allowed every mom who needed or wanted this service to have it available to them. This is where you find the problems and get at them early and help prevent disease and produce healthy populations. And to see anything erode that means downstream costs could go up as people have disease and have admissions to more costly acute systems. If an increase in bilirubin isn't caught early, then the baby has to undergo really intensive phototherapy in an acute setting, for example.
Yeah, I think I was able to let my guard down and talk to her about some of the things that I might not be able to talk to my doctor about.
Yes, I think we should have these types of special programs targeted at very high-risk populations, but they should be on top of what we already have. So it's time, I think, for our government to step up and start talking about healthy families and actually invest in healthy families in our province. It's time for our federal government to step up through the renegotiation of the federal provincial accord and make a positive contribution to the health of Canadians by investing more in these types of programs.
So this is our little 10-week-old.